Conference USA continues to rebuild, going from 9 to 10 with the addition of Kennesaw State. The school is located in Kennesaw, Georgia, in Cobb County, 25 miles northwest of Atlanta. It opened in 1966 as Kennesaw Junior College with 1,000 enrollment. It was initially named Cobb County Junior College before opening. In 1976, it became a four-year college, and in 1988, it became Kennesaw State College as it was nearing 10,000 enrollment. It gained university status in 1996 and became Kennesaw State University. KSU has a 43,000 enrollment. They've grown by more than 8,000 enrollment since 2018, and they have now over a $100 million endowment, which they've doubled since 2019. The Kennesaw State Owls started football in 2015. They have four 11-plus win seasons. They play in the 8,300-seat Fifth Third Bank Stadium. A Fifth Third Bank Stadium expansion was mentioned in the 2016 master plan. The diagram had an expansion of the west side, so they can either dust off those expansion plans or build a new stadium. Kennesaw State Athletics started in 1982 when they were playing in the NAIA. They were nicknamed the Golden Owls back then, and they played in the Georgia Intercollegiate Athletic Association. They moved up to the NCAA Division II in 1994, playing in the Peach Belt Conference, and men's basketball won a D2 national championship in 2004. They would then move up to Division I and begin their transition in 2005 into the Atlantic Sun Conference, and they will be heading over to Conference USA to play FBS football in 2024. With Kennesaw State now on board, Conference USA has three pairings of natural rivals: New Mexico State and UTEP. They've met 99 times and played for the Silver Spade Trophy. They're separated by 41 miles. Then 100 miles of hate, Western Kentucky, Middle Tennessee. They've met 71 times. And then Kennesaw State and Jacksonville State. They're separated by about 85 miles. And with those natural rivals comes travel savings and non-revenue sports for everyone else, as schools can fly into El Paso Airport and knock out UTEP, which is 8 miles from the airport, and New Mexico State, 45 miles from the airport. Same thing with Nashville. They can fly into Nashville, knock out Middle Tennessee, 30 miles from the airport, and Western Kentucky, 70 miles from the airport. And same thing with Atlanta. They can fly into Atlanta Airport, knock out Kennesaw, which is 33 miles from Atlanta Airport, and Jacksonville State, 100 miles away. These are the enrollments and endowments of Conference USA. Kennesaw has a monster 43,000 enrollment, and Liberty's enrollment of 16,000 is their residential enrollment only. It does not include their online enrollment. To my knowledge, Kennesaw's 43,000 enrollment was the largest in FCS. Kennesaw is located within the number 8 metropolitan statistical area, and the state of Georgia is the number 4 state for football recruiting, which is important for a handful of Conference USA schools, as 4 Conference USA teams have 15-plus players from the state of Georgia. Georgia is also an important pipeline for student recruiting, as the state of Georgia's rank as the home state of the student body for each school. For Jacksonville State, it's second, delivering over 1,200 students. For Middle Tennessee, it's second. For Western Kentucky, it's top 5. I could not find the data for FIU, but Georgia would make logical sense for second. Atlanta is also an important alumni hub for a handful of Conference USA schools. Per the Wall Street Journal's Where Graduates Move After College database, 4.5% of Liberty alumni move to Atlanta. Atlanta is also one of the leading alumni hubs for both Western Kentucky and Middle Tennessee. Over 10% of Jacksonville State alumni move to Atlanta, and Atlanta is also one of the leading alumni hubs for Louisiana Tech and FIU. So Atlanta is a strategic location for football recruiting, student recruiting, and re-engaging and reconnecting alumni for several Conference USA schools. These are the athletic revenues, using in the top row the Knight Commission on Intercollegiate Athletics, in the bottom row the Department of Education, Equity and Athletics. Liberty is far ahead of everyone. Kennesaw's athletic budget will fit right in Conference USA. These are the football budgets. Liberty doubles everyone. Kennesaw's football budget would rank 8th. And finally, the men's basketball budgets. The top 5 would be Liberty, UTEP, New Mexico State, Western Kentucky, and Middle Tennessee. Using the Knight Commission on Intercollegiate Athletics database, these are where the revenues come from, divided between school funds, student fees, and everything else. Everything else just went under a non-allocated. Kennesaw's 43,000 enrollment has enabled them to milk student fees for over $12 million. And you see a similar situation with FIU, who has a monster enrollment. They have nearly $25 million in student fees. This is what I call self-generated revenue. It takes ticket sales, then donor contributions, and then sponsorships and licensing, and then combined makes up self-generated revenue. Kennesaw's self-generated revenue would fit right in Conference USA. The top five in Conference USA would be Louisiana Tech, UTEP, Western Kentucky, Middle Tennessee, New Mexico State. Of course, Liberty, their data is not listed because they're a private school. Here's the 3 year attendance average pre COVID for football and men's basketball. The combined football and men's basketball attendance would have New Mexico State in front, followed by UTEP, Louisiana Tech, Western Kentucky, and Liberty. If you go off football attendance only, Louisiana Tech would be on top, followed by Jacksonville State. These are the 10 football stadiums of Conference USA. 7 of the 10 stadiums are in between that 20 to 30,000 range. Of course, I don't think anybody expects a Fifth Third Bank Stadium, as is, to be what Kennesaw plays in long term in FBS. They'll either expand the stadium or build a new stadium. Here are the Power 5 schools that will be playing in Conference USA stadiums through 2034. In 2025, Duke will play at Middle Tennessee and Cincinnati at Western Kentucky. In 2028, Kansas will play at Louisiana Tech. In 2030, Virginia Tech will play at Liberty, and also later this current season. In 2032, Texas Tech will play at UTEP, and in 2034, NC State will play at Louisiana Tech. The top row on this chart is the 4 year Sagarin rating of each team. I cut it off at 4 years because it coincides with when Liberty moved up to FBS in 2018. The top 4 year Sagarins are Liberty, Western Kentucky, Louisiana Tech, and Middle Tennessee. The bottom row is the number of weeks in each school's history they've been ranked in the AP Top 25. Liberty, despite only being in their 5th year of FBS football, leads Conference USA with 8 weeks in the AP Top 25. In men's basketball, new Conference USA ranks 12th in both 4 year net and 5 year KenPom. The top 4 in 5 year KenPom are New Mexico State, Western Kentucky, Liberty, and Louisiana Tech. Of course, a handful of Conference USA schools have storied histories in men's basketball. UTEP won a national championship as Texas Western. They've been to 4 Sweet 16s. New Mexico State has been to a Final Four and 5 Sweet 16s. Western Kentucky has been to 1 Final Four and 8 Sweet 16s. And Louisiana Tech has been to a Sweet 16. Also, Middle Tennessee has won 4 games in the NCAA tournament, including 2 recently. The ASUN, with the loss of Kennesaw State, is now down to 11. 4 of them are playing ASUN football: Eastern Kentucky, Austin Peay, North Alabama, and Central Arkansas. The ASUN would like to sponsor football, so they need 6. Currently, those ASUN football schools have an agreement with the WAC football schools, but both leagues wish to sponsor football separately. So the ASUN is targeting at least 2 more football schools. The ASUN still has some flight risks on their ship. Bellarmine is sitting right there for the Horizon League, who has 11 members and needs a 12th. And the conference tournament and conference headquarters of the Horizon League are an hour 45 from Louisville. The Big South has 9 and is looking for a 10th. And Queens being located in Charlotte, which is a critical student and alumni market for all Big South schools. And finally, there's the risk of Central Arkansas returning to the Southland. The Southland has now restabilized since Central Arkansas originally left, and ASUN football has lost 2 schools, Jacksonville State and Kennesaw State, to FBS since UCA originally agreed to join. The ASUN is likely to target a couple football schools from the OVC. Tennessee Tech is sitting right there. There's also Southeast Missouri, SEMO, which is right around the boot heel. I'm skipping over Tennessee State because I assume if they switch leagues, it will be to the SWAC because that's what their alumni want. A couple Division II targets would include Valdosta State in West Florida, although it is unknown if either of those two are interested in moving up to D1.